Nijagara Chachavira Kalim Digvachache Pachit Nipalingadaram Sudram Gantam Gomitidam Pada
Jagraho Jasavira Kalim Digvijaye Kvachit Nipalingadaram Shudram Nantam Go Mitunam Pada.
Savira
Kalim Digvijaye Kvachit
Kalim Digvachache Kvachit
Nripalingadaram Shudram
Nipalingadaram Sudram
Gnantam Gomitunam Pada
Kantam Gomitidam Pada
Nijagraho Jasavira
Nijagara Savira
Kalim Digvijaye Kvachit
Kalim Digvachache Kvachit
Ripalingadaram Shudram
Nipalingadaram Sudram
Kanantam Gomitunam Pada
Kantam Gomitidam Pada
Nitagraho Jasavira
Nijagara Savira
Kalim Digvijaye Kachit
Kalim Digvachache Kvachit
Nipalingadaram Shudram
Nipalingadaram Sudram
Gnantam Gomitunam Para
Kantam Gomitidam Pada
Nijagraha Savira
Nijagara Savira
Kalim Digvijaye Kvachit
Kalim Digvachache Kvachit
Nirpalinga Dharmansudram
Nipalingadaram Sudram
Ganantam Go Mitunam Pada
Kantam Gomitidam Pada
Nijagraho Jasavira
Nijagara Savira
Kalim Digvijaye Kvachit
Kalim Digvachache Kvachit
Nripalinga Dharam Shudram
Nipalingadaram Sudram
Gnantam Gomai Mitunam Pada
Kantam Gomitidam Pada
Nijagraho Jasavira
Nijagara Savira
Kalim Digvijaye Vichit
Kalam Digvijaye Kvachit
Nipalinga Daram Shudram
Nripalinga Daram Sudram
Gantam Go Mitunam Pada
Kantam Go Mitidam Pada
Nijagraha Jasavira
Nijagaraha Jasavira
Kalim Digvijaye Kvachit
Kalam Digvijaye Kvachit
Nirpalinga Dharam Shudram
Nripalinga Daram Sudram
Nantam Gomitunam Pada
Kantam Go Mitidam Pada. So everybody chanted. Anyone online like to chant? Yes, we'll do the word by word synonyms. Okay. Nigrujasa, sufficiently punished. Ojasa, by prowess. Vira, valiant, hero. Kalim, unto Kali, the master of the age. Digrajaye, on his way to conquer the world. Grachit, once upon a time. Nipalinga Dharam, one who passes in the dress of a king. Sudram, the lower class. Kantam, hurting. Gomitidam, a cow and bull. Pada, on the leg. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Once, when Maharaj Prishkit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali Yuga, who was lower than a Sudra, disguised as a king and herding the legs of a cow and bull. The king at once caught hold of him to deal sufficient punishment. Purport: the purpose of a king's going out to conquer the world is not for self-aggrandizement. Maharaj Prishkit went out to conquer the world after his ascendance to his throne, but this was not for the purpose of aggression on other states. He was the emperor of the world, and all small states were already under his regime. His purpose in going out was to see how things were going on in terms of the godly state. The king, being the representative of the Lord, has to execute the will of the Lord duly. There is no question of self-aggrandizement. Thus, as soon as Maharaj Prishkit saw that a lower-class man in the dress of a king was herding the legs of a cow and bull, at once he arrested and punished him. The king cannot tolerate insults to the most important animal, the cow, nor can he tolerate disrespect for the most important man, the Brahmana. Human civilization means to advance the cause of Brahminical culture, and to maintain it, cow protection is essential. There is a miracle in milk, for it contains all the necessary vitamins to sustain human physiological conditions for higher achievements. Brahminical culture can advance only when a man is educated to develop the quality of goodness. And for this, there's a prime necessity of food prepared with milk, fruits, and grains. Maharaj Prishkit was astonished to see that a black Sudra dressed like a ruler was mistreating a cow, the most important animal in human society. The age of Kali means mismanagement and quarrel. And the root cause of all mismanagement and quarrel is that worthless men with the modes of lower class men who have no higher ambition in life come to the helm of the state management. Such men at the post of a king are sure to first hurt the cow and the Brahminical culture, thereby pushing all society towards hell. Maharaj Prishkit, trained as he was, got the scent of this root cause of all quarrel in the world. Thus, he wanted to stop it in the very beginning. So Maharaj had a comment?
Thank you. It's a very nice lesson in how to manage a a society, one can calculate or examine these two features primarily, and it will it will give the pulse of how the society is going. First point is, how is the cow being treated? So we can just examine that in most places of the world, the cow is being treated miserably. They're given no rights, no care, no protection, and just slaughtered in huge numbers for no reason. So if the cow and the bull are not being protected, that's the first indication that society is being misled, mismanaged. The next point is, how is the Brahman being treated? Is the Brahman being respected in society? So the Brahman, his motto, so to speak, or his aim of life, he lives according to Shama Dhamma Tapak Shoksham, Shanti Arjuneva Cha, Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam, Brahmakarma Svabhavajam. He's peaceful, he controls his senses, he performs austerities. Shama Dhamma Tapak Shoksham, he's clean. Jnanam, he has transcendental knowledge, and he applies transcendental knowledge into practice. And again, Astikyam. He follows all the religious principles, he's truthful. These are the qualities of the Brahman. So, in present day, no one even understands who a Brahman is or what a Brahman would be looking like. But based on Bhagavad Gita, one can understand that those persons who embody those qualities mentioned, they're the Brahmanas, and they should be most honored in society. Now, do we see that now? Do we see that anyone having such qualities is appreciated? Certainly the state is not making any effort to promote such a culture that brings forth, Prabhupada often said, you have a big educational system, you have very opulent buildings and curriculum, everything's very exalted, but why are you producing hippies? Hippies have just the opposite quality of Brahman. Not clean, not peaceful, not self-controlled, not in knowledge. So, if the society is producing hippies, or people without Brahmanic qualities, how can there be proper respect for Brahman and Brahmanic life? So we can see that there's no hope for society unless these things are given topmost importance. So, thank you very much.
Sorry, thank you very much for that. It was very enlightening. As Prabhupada was mentioning that the qualities of Brahmana, and it's mentioned in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Satyam, he's peaceful, he's self-controlled, he's truthful, he's cleanliness, so the specific skalities of a Brahmana. And Prabhupada, he was stating that in the Skanda Prana Kolo Sudra Sambhava, that in the age of Kali, everyone, they're simply born Sudra. And Prabhupada was stating now, here's the king. The word here mentioned is lingam. He said generally lingam means gender, but it also means sign. So by the sign, one can understand what a person is or what his qualities are. Prabhupada was saying that here this person lower than a Sudra is dressed as a king. So he's this cheating principle. It's not the proper sign. His just like Prabhupada was saying, if a woman dressed like a man or a man dressed like a woman, that doesn't mean that they've actually changed, that they are either a man or a woman. It doesn't change their position. They still remain as they are. So this is the mismanagement in Kali Yuga, is that everyone's just simply born Sudra, but the administrative class, they don't care for the Brahminical culture. They're just saying, okay, you just go on whatever you're doing, whatever nonsense or whatever, you just pay your taxes, right? And then you'll be free. So this is the topsy-turvy position, because the Brahmana, Prabhupada was saying this natural society, natural divisions. There's the head division, the arms division, the belly division, and the legs division. So he's saying if you just have legs, that's okay. But he said that's a dead body. That's not the proper situation. You need everything to be working properly. So Prabhupada was saying just like Chatur, Vanyam, that the 4 divisions of society, Krishna says, were created by me. And so this is for the natural order, is that even in the material sense, you have the intelligence class, and Prabhupada gave you the example as scientist, philosopher, mathematician, right? And then the administrative class is would be the current day leaders, administrators, like that, presidents, prime ministers, military defense. And then you have the belly division. And so he said this is the persons that are engaged in economic development, business, making money in agriculture. So that's also required. Money is also required. And then you have the legs division of the Sudras. And so the Sudras, they simply are to assist the 3 higher classes. So Prabhupada was saying that the Brahminical class, they require assistance. And so also does the administrative class and the Vaishyas. So especially with the Brahmanas. And so what we're saying here is the symptom of the age of Kali. If the Brahmanas are not properly respected, or if Brahminical culture is not fostered, or to seeing that Brahminical culture is going on nicely, and if the cow is not being protected, then that's definitely the sign of Kali Yuga, and everything's all topsy-turvy. So the 4 varnas and 4 ashrams that Krishna has created, the Chaturvarnyam, this is specifically for spiritual culture. The administrative class would take counsel from the Brahminical class, but now they don't care for what the Brahmins have to say. They don't care for truthfulness. They're less than Sudra. They have, Prabhupada was saying that there's 4 types of persons. You have first class, second class, third class, and fourth class. So like that. So the first class persons, they're the intelligent persons, right? And then, let's see. I'd have to remember what the second class, third class. Oh yeah, well, fourth class is just simply rascals, low class men, like that. So if someone is actually like fourth class, like first class number 1 idiot. So basically, that's pretty much what the situation, the present Kali Yuga is. If you ever see in the news or listen to what they're saying and stuff, they're completely off the wall and kind of ridiculous. So, but that's the case. So everyone should respect the first class man, the intelligent Brahminical class, like that. And let's see. Let me think about what we're also saying. So here's Kali, this person dressed as a king. This was a cheating principle. He's not really the king. He's not really a king, but he's dressed as a king. And not only that, but the signs of Kali is mistreating the bull or the cow. So cow protection is very, very important in society. Prabhupada here is stating that the milk has many vitamins that's needed for the physiological healthy condition of the body. As we can see that we get so many nice things from milk and milk products, milk and yogurt and butter and ghee. We made some butter recently, and then it was melted down and made some ghee. So that's like, pretty heavy duty changes that are taking place. But you see how valuable milk can be, that you get oil from it, and you get yogurt, and so many different varieties of milk products. And we make the paneer, the curd, which is the milk solids, and the cheese. And then the bull, the bull works for us. He tends the fields. And the bulls, they like to work for us. They attach themselves to human society very naturally. I saw the film that the bulls were tending the field, pulling the plow. And then the bull would stop at one point until you started chanting Hare Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna to the bull. And so then the bull again will start moving again. So like that. So he just wanted them to chant and sing Hare Krishna, and that makes them happy, and they're very happy doing that. So, and then, see, what else were we speaking about? So, at the age of Kali, it's just all sinful activities. So these persons, they're not actually qualified. They're basically drunkards, women hunters. The lowest class men, they're very, very foolish. Everything is mismanaged. The topsy-turvy, they want to be the head of the society, but the Brahminical class, they're the head of society, and they would give counsel to the administrators, but they're not interested in such good advice. They're only interested in the comforts of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So Prabhupada was saying, it's one big Sudra, he's running for post. And so then, because everyone is also Sudra, they'll vote for their specific candidate, like that. So Prabhupada was saying, one big dog runs for position, leadership, and so many other smaller dogs, they vote him in. So that's the position of the current state of Kali Yuga. But the king was to see that the Vedic principles were going on nicely. So this is why King Prishket, he was touring the land. He was seeing that the Brahminical culture was going on nicely. And so what he saw here is that this Sudra was mistreating the bull and the cow. So this is something that's not allowed. So you can see that by the qualities and characteristics that this person's not a king, like that. So that was just cheating principle. And so I'm also trying to think of it. I just had it. So Prabhupada was saying that formerly, even in India, that everyone, they didn't steal. If there was, the rule was if there was something laying along the road, then no one would touch it. But because the penalties for stealing was you chop your hand off. So a very, very severe penalty. So nobody dared to steal. But what we see nowadays, this is what I was thinking in comparison, they believe that even the criminals, they have rights, and they're in jail and they're in prison, and for a time, and then when they reintroduce the criminals back into society again, we see that all havoc takes place again. Then there's like riots and looting, and the homicide rate is increasing. They're saying the homicide rate is increasing and the average age of the killer is getting younger. Like that. So that's the current position. But before, the penalties were very, very strict. So no one would steal, no one would break the law. And Prabhupada was talking about how a Brahmana has to be a Brahmana by qualification, good character. Just by being born in the family of a Brahmana, doesn't mean that one is actually a Brahmana. So Prabhupada was talking about, at first there's the samskara. So there's the garbhadam samskara of conceiving, begetting a child, beginning. And then there'll be the initiation ceremony. So it says, oh, the initiation ceremony is important to initiate a person as a Brahmana. And that's also another samskara, like that, another purification rite. Not that one is automatically a Brahmana by being born in a Brahmana family. You're saying just like a carpenter, Prabhupada gives the example of a high court judge, like that. Someone has to pass the bar test or learn from the family, the family business of carpentry, like that. Or if one is working under the guidance of an electrician, then he also becomes a good electrician. So it's by quality that one would naturally develop the qualities of a Brahmana by engaging in the Brahminical rites as in the family tradition, very naturally, like that. So it's by qualification that one would become a Brahmana. So Prabhupada was speaking about that too, is that nowadays the Brahmana class is caste conscious, that they believe they have to be born in a Brahminical family in India. So Prabhupada is introducing the Brahminical culture all over the world, and Prabhupada states from scripture that even the Chandalas, the Malechas, those outside of India and the other countries, very, very fallen, they can be trained to become Brahmana and become purified. Prabhupada was saying that was actually the ill effects of the yoga system, other jnanis and yogis. They fail to purify the hearts of their disciples. And what we have is material religion. Prabhupada was saying they get some benefit from the material religions, and sometimes we meet big demons and they profess one of the material religions, and they quote their Bible verses to us, but they're just simply big, large demons. They argue with us about illicit sex, and they argue with us about meat eating and works. It's not by works only alone that one can enter into the kingdom of God. So, like that. So we, don't get too much involved, with nonsense, speaking nonsense. Try to offer them a book. Probably won't take one. Yeah, we don't anger, excite the demons. Yeah, you have a question or a comment?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, if it's okay with you, can I make a comment, Prabhu?
Sure.
I was just thinking how Maharaj Parishit immediately caught hold of this so-called king who was it was a Shudra who was disguised as a king. He didn't hesitate to actually deal sufficient punishment to him. And Prabhupada makes the point in the purport that the cause of all quarrel and mismanagement is that worthless men with the modes of lower class men who have no higher ambition in life, they come to the helm of the state management. And then we see that in today's society, how all leaders of countries, their aims of life is to expand their bodily conscience through protecting their country or whatever the case may be, or expanding their sense gratification. So they have no idea of the goal of life, and therefore they can't actually solve any of the problems, because their goal of life is simply to enjoy, to exploit others. And therefore there's quarrel, because no one can ever agree upon how to manage things in such a way where everyone's sense gratification is satisfied, because somebody else's sense gratification is my suffering in this material world. So we see Maharaj Parishik as a Kshatriya. Prabhupada said also that the Kshatriya, the symptom of a Kshatriya is that he should be able to kill. He should immediately take up the sword. Not that he's a coward. For most of the men in society who are ruling, they just sit back and send people to war and try to enjoy the fruits of their death by sending these people, young men who are also untrained, are not Kshatriyas by nature, because a Kshatriya also, these three higher classes of men, they also are part of Brahminical culture as well. So they have to have some higher knowledge beyond the body. And a Kshatriya is supposed to know that religious principles is the purpose why we fight. And by their very qualities, they cannot tolerate irreligious activities. So you see Maharaj Parishik, he couldn't tolerate this Shudra doing something so sinful. Immediately he caught him. Because it was by his nature, a Kshatriya cannot tolerate injustice. And we see this. But we see the modern leaders, they're committing so many sinful activities. They don't care about cheating others, exploiting others for their own aggrandizement. And there's a big difference between the leaders of today. So these are some thoughts how we can see how Vedic culture is ideal. And we see the real quality of a leader who naturally people felt inclined to follow because he was courageous. He was immediately solved the problem at its root, which was that in this case, we saw that a so-called king who was supposed to be in charge of others was actually hurting the most important animal in human society, the cow, because of the cow represents religion. And without the cow, there is no religious principles. So it's a completely different world that we live in. So it's sometimes hard to relate. Hare Krishna.
So Hare Krishna, yeah, that was a very, very nice comment. So yeah, by side, Brahminical culture and today's Sudra culture, it's padam, Maharaj just mentioned that's danger at every step. So we can purify the atmosphere, and Krishna conscious leadership can become prevalent, and then respect the cows in Brahminical culture. You have a question or comment?
Yeah, I have a short comment and then a question, if I may.
Sure.
So this day and age, as we see here at Rupanuga Vedic College, even if somebody lower than a Shudra renders devotional service to a Brahmana as Krishna likes, he can come to quality only. It's not by birth or caste. And also, I was just reflecting on a pastime of the witness, the Shakshi Gopal deity, and they mention how there's low-class brahmanas and high-class brahmanas. Like, there's the younger brahmana who's rendering service to this older brahmana, and the younger brahmana is a lower class than, because he's not as wealthy, right? He doesn't have, as much opulence. And I was wondering, kind of when reading this, is it only like the brahmana's wealth that makes him higher or lower class, or is it his prestige and scholarship? And how is it that, and since they're both just getting charity to sustain themselves, why is it that one brahmana can be, far less or far lower class than another?
Yeah, that was kind of topsy-turvy. But the one brahmana is, you can see exactly where their standards are if he had more wealth. But actually, and he was older, so he was superior to the younger. But if he has more wealth than the younger, he was more impoverished or more in a renounced position than the other Brahmana who had wealth and a family and a house, and he offered his daughter to the younger Brahmana who was assisting him. So the family members, his sons, right, the brothers of his daughter, they contrived some sort of a story or some sort of a lie, right, that actually, to avoid giving their daughter in marriage to, the impoverished, renounced Brahmana, like that. So, in India, they give these really big, large dowries, it's like, a fleet of Mercedes Benz and, a lot of money, big dowry. But, and I believe that they again use these things again for another dowry too. The family will use them or sell them as they like, if they wish, but they can also use it for dowry for marrying their daughter too, like that. But so they can contrive this story to avoid giving their daughter to the impoverished person, someone more in the renounced order of life. So you can actually see by quality or by as association or bad association, but who's actually really higher or lower, who's being truthful and who's not being truthful, like that. So that's also quality of Brahmana. So but it's a nice story that Shakshi Gopal, the deity himself, actually comes to bear the witness, and the temple is still there, right where Shakshi Gopal stopped and spoke to all the persons about the actual real situation, like that. So, that's the Lord's pastimes. So, you can actually see by example or by actions, you can actually understand a person's actual real position. If he's fourth class, rascal, right? Or first class intelligent person. Hello, does anybody else have any other questions or comments? Okay, yeah, we can end class there. Srimad Bhagavatam, class ki jai.